When the new musical Sing Street couldn't open on Broadway, it opened here with the Huntington Theatre Company. It's based on the film of the same name and is set in 1982 Dublin. Times are tough, the economy is hurting, and Connor, a teenager, is watching as his family pulls apart. Until he meets Rafina, and he tries to woo her by asking her to be a model in the music video for his new band. Problem being, he actually has to create a band. In a moment, we'll meet the stars of Sing Street. Courtney Carter, Adam Bregman, thank you so much for joining us. Give me a sense of your take on the show with your character Connor. This is 1982 in Dublin. Times are really tough. What is he facing?
Well, the whole country is in like a hole, as one of the characters says, it's in a recession. There was some contextual research, and the context grounds the character, but I think the nice thing about the story is it's not all about the context, it's a universal kind of story. He's facing the kind of struggles that kids today would be facing, that kids in the 1980s and before were facing. His family's falling apart. He's on the cusp of, between being a child and being an adult and having to make decisions for himself. It's a very universal story, and so I think that's why people can relate to it.
And where does your character come in? She seems like the picture of strength when things aren't necessarily happening well for her either.
Right. I mean, Rafina she really is a wildflower growing through concrete in this terrible, terrible time. And she's just trying to make something of herself because she's just had such a terrible life. And she heals through Connor's music.
Well, it's so interesting that music is the universal element here. We can all relate to music. We all have music as a soundtrack to our lives and a coping mechanism. How do you see it used in the show, and how does it relate to who you are?
So what I find quite interesting about the show is it's a musical, and the normal basis of a musical is once you're too emotional to speak, you sing. And in this story, when things get too tough, he writes a song, and then he lives through this music, and he releases, and he gets out his troubles and his longings and his dreams through this music. It's very much a coping mechanism as well as an expression of just pure happiness.
What about you? Is music, what kind of place in your life has it been?
I mean, music is huge in my life. Growing up, my late grandfather was an opera singer, and my grandmother's a jazz singer, so music has always been a part of my life. And it's my way to escape. I listen to music before auditions. It is a way to calm me down, and it's very inspirational to me. Yeah, and I love to sing. Sometimes I sing when I'm feeling sad or just want to get something out, and music is a huge part of my life.
I was so struck by even the way you were swinging the mic stand last night. It was so natural to you. Does it feel natural?
It's not actually very 80s, but I watched some Elvis videos. The way that there have been frontmen through the generations that have played with. I've had mics break. So we broke a mic, snapped it in half. The mic stand. I've chipped both of my two front teeth with a mic hitting me in the face. But it's been worth it. It's been hella fun.
They're fixed already, it looks like.
No, they're small. They are very small chips.
What about you? You have to be a supermodel.
I watched a lot of Whitney Houston and a lot of Janet Jackson and Grace Jones and Naomi Campbell, people who were really in at the time. And just kind of studied their things, but doing Rafina's version of it because she wants to be a model, but I don't think she's actually that great at doing it yet.
I was wondering, because this is a new musical, essentially, I know it's had at least one other iteration in New York, but so much of it was shaped between New York and then launching here at the Huntington. Do you bring yourself to this role? I mean, you're in many ways defining these characters.
Absolutely. I mean, whenever I approach a character, it has to come from a real place from within me. Because I am the person who's playing it. So the first thing that I try to do is to find what can I relate to that Rafina has gone through, or what in my life can I sort of, I call it an as if this has happened to me in my life. This is Rafina's version of it. So yeah, I mean, definitely, I bring my whole heart into it, and I try to bring my life experiences and yeah, to make her as authentic as possible.
Well, finally, let me ask about the music. I mean, Kate Bush is having a moment right now. You're bringing us back into the 80s.
Yes, good timing,
Your
isn't it?
group is single-handedly going to launch us back into Depeche Mode and Duran Duran. How is it to be in that music?
Oh, the music it's so, like, it makes you feel so good. It's just so, what's the word, like, raw and just kind of like edgy, and it makes you feel cool listening to it, and it really puts you in that sort of time space, and it's really thrilling to listen to. We were, before opening yesterday, we played the whole 80s playlist to like get us into it, and it's such a good time for music, like just icons, freaking Whitney Houston, and geez, like yeah, great time for music.
Let alone sing it.
You know, we go from like kind of edgy rock to kind of ballads, and I think that's one of the best things about the show. It doesn't have a style you can put your finger on. It's completely changing, like constantly.
Yeah.
And so it's never boring, you know. There's a song for every mood.
Yeah.
And for every emotion, there's a song. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's quite a journey. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on a fantastic show, and it's been such a treat to speak with both of you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.